What's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. Today, we're going to talk about ideas. Today's topic is about ideas and what they are, why they're important to you, why you need to use ideas properly. I'm going to give you 3 ways your ideas are being attacked and influenced and manipulated in the spiritual aspect. But first, I want to thank you guys for being here. Okay, remember your attention is your most valuable spiritual asset. It's the one thing that all of your spiritual warfare is about. They're fighting for your attention. What you pay attention to, you get in return. Attention, it means to stretch towards. So you're stretching towards something. And what you don't know is you're stretching into abundance. You are stretching into abundance. And what ends up happening is your abundance is actually already completely full. And what you do in abundance does not go unnoticed. Meaning, whenever you stretch into abundance, it's kind of like you're putting more water in a glass that's already full. When you are able to get this glass and get in position to receive the things that fall out of the glass as you pour into the glass. This is why attention is so valuable, because what you give attention to is seen as worship. And what you give attention to, oftentimes you are provided in return. So first and foremost, welcome to the live stream. We are streaming on everything except for Facebook. I can't get Facebook to work. Don't worry. Nobody ever watches on Facebook, so I'm okay. If you ever want to see the recording of this, you can go back to my YouTube, which I'm streaming on now, and you can watch it over and over and over as you wish. Okay? So, with that being said, what does the word idea mean? Idea. Well, it means a concept in the mind of God. A concept that is inside of God's mind. That's what the word idea means. Now, since I love words and I'm fascinated by them, we have to understand what the words are, because in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So in the beginning, when we understand what an idea is, we are able to finally kind of understand its pattern, what it is not, how we can actually use it. So with that definition, we understand that an idea is not a thought. It comes from God, quite literally. All of the ideas that you discover are from God. It's a provision that God is allowing you to receive. A concept in the mind of God. Now, what is a concept? If it's not a thought, well, let me put it this way. An idea can only come from God. We can't create ideas. We don't have the ability to create or come up with new ideas. In all over Ecclesiastes, it says there's nothing new under the sun, meaning we don't create new. Human beings are not able to create new, not even think new things. We can think of new or an order of things that we have not seen yet, but it's still not new. It already exists. Okay. People are coming up with different versions of the ironing board. And now we have steam cleaners and all this great stuff and, stuff that blows air and it puffs out the shirt and it's no more wrinkles. People will say, oh, that's new. It's not new. The concept of ironing clothes was already provided once to one person, and that person was a good steward of that idea and allowed humanity to kind of thrive a little bit more. Okay. Ideas. I know people, you weren't taught this. You weren't taught that your ideas weren't from you. You were taught that your ideas come from you, that your ideas are a thing that you control. You ever wonder why it is when you discover a new idea, it feels exhilarating? It's like you're thinking, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's that shock. You're like, wow, I'm here. Like I feel like I can take flight. I've discovered something so magnificent. You can only discover something that's already been there. It's just hidden. Okay. It's just been hidden, or it's outside of your viewpoint. When you discover it, you should know it's already been there. When you think about solving a problem, you get a very different feeling, that satisfaction type of feeling. It's not the exhilaration of excitement that, I've discovered something new. So an idea is from God. It's not from us. An idea is something that we are able to observe. When we take an idea and begin to process that idea, that is what we call thinking. Okay? When we process ideas, that is what is called thinking. And thinking is not only from ideas, but thinking is from old experiences that are stored as memories. They are from bits and pieces of intuition that you receive all throughout the day. But it's just a process of your brain thinking. Thinking is up in your brain. Ideas come to your mind. Your mind. Okay? Do you know where your mind is at? Your mind is in your heart. People, I need you guys to listen closely. Your mind is not inside of your brain. Okay? Your brain is the organ. It's a fleshy thing. Okay? Your brain is the thing that analyzes data and quickly sifts it and organizes it very quickly. Any organ in your body is simply designed to organize things. That's it. Okay. Your brain is no different from your liver or your kidneys or your pancreas or your eyeballs or your skin. All of these things just organize and sort things out very efficiently as it's designed. Your ideas are not only here for your benefit, but they're here for the benefit the people you're supposed to serve. Always. Okay. God designed you in a certain way, and you are supposed to have a purpose because you have a design. And if you are able to discover your design and live in your purpose and walk in your purpose, oftentimes you receive assistance from God in the form of ideas. Okay. But how do I know that that ideas are in the heart and not the brain? Well, the Bible says, nestle nestle wisdom in the heart, or repose the wisdom in the heart. And then I looked up what the word wisdom meant, and wisdom means spiritual truth. The word wisdom, it means spiritual truth. So even wisdom is actually spirituality. Wisdom itself is spirituality. And when you know that wisdom is in the heart, and spirit, like wisdom is designed to go into the heart, that means that wisdom it goes into the mind, and the heart is where the mind is. Another example of proof is when you feel that gut feeling. People say, I have this gut feeling. Why is it always in your gut? Why is it not ever in your head? You never say, oh, I have a head feeling. And in the sense of, you're talking about intuition. Like, I don't know if I trust this guy. Oh, I just have a feeling. And you touch your head. It's always your gut feeling. It's because your heart is there, not your belly, of course, but like your intuition is received by your heart, because your heart is where your mind is. Idea, a concept in the mind of God. Idea, a concept in God's heart. So when you are able to understand that your mind is in your heart, and your mind is supposed to be the one that leads you, not your brain. Your brain is not designed to lead you. I say this all the time. Your brain is not designed to be your leader. Your brain is only an organ. It only solves problems. Okay. It thinks, but it cannot reason. Reasoning is part of your mind. And in like your brain has different portions, like your frontal lobe, your cerebellum, your all this other stuff, right? All this other great stuff, but your mind has different faculties. Okay, your mind itself has different faculties. Number one, or like for example, imagination is part of your mind. Even in the definition of imagination, it says a faculty of the mind that forms and manipulates images. And if you get down into the words, you've got to understand, like by reason, you have to understand where these things go. But like imagination is a faculty of the mind. Appetite is a faculty of the mind. Perception is a faculty of the mind. Will is a faculty of the mind. Wisdom is a faculty of the mind. Have you guys ever wondered what mindset means? Like what mindset actually is? Like people, like there's mindset coaches and stuff like that, and they may have figured it out. I haven't been to every mindset coach, but I figured out the mind. I figured it out. Once you figure out your mind, you figured out your life. when the mindset is the final picture, or excuse me, the final image, viewpoint, permission set of an image. Okay. And it's like a final package. So I'm gonna state a couple of things, and you just paint the picture of where your mindset is on these people. You can comment or you don't have to comment. Okay. I'm just gonna demonstrate to you what mindset is. So Donald Trump, Barack Obama, George Bush, rich people, airplanes, lion, white people, black people, Chinese people, Russian people. So all these things that I just said, you instantly had an image, and an image is very complex in itself. An image itself is very, very complex. You can't just, it's not like a photograph. An image, you can smell it. An image, you can hear birds chirping. You can feel the deception from some of these politicians. Like an image is extremely complex because you can see it in your, like, in your mind. You can envision it, right? Your dreams are not just like a photograph hanging on the wall. I mean, just look at your dream. Any of your dreams, you can navigate through. You're talking to folks. You're being thrown off cliffs. You're playing music. You're back as a child. Let's say you even transform into a chicken. Okay, so all those things that I said earlier, just briefly, that's what mindset is. Your preconceived notion, your concept of a thing. That's what mindset is. And after your mind is done processing an image completely, it goes through all of the different faculties. Your mind, what the product of that processed image is called mindset. Your mind then absorbs, or excuse me, your brain then takes that package called mindset, ingests it, and says, this is how I remember Donald Trump. This is how I remember Barack Obama. This is how I remember birds. This is how I remember dogs. This is how I remember this and that. And then like more complex things happens. So mindset can be shifted. Your mindset can be shifted. Your memories, excuse me, I won't talk on that. I'm not gonna say on that. Okay, so inside of your mind, there is a faculty called imagination. And this portion of your mind, not your brain, okay, your mind, not your brain, your mind. This portion of your mind called imagination it's always working. As soon as you gain consciousness, whether you are having sleep paralysis, okay, or you are awake, or you are dreaming, because when you're dreaming, you're conscious still. It's kind of strange phenomenon, but when you are conscious, your imagination is always pushing forward. You either are imagining your life in a positive way, in a holy way, like as in you're in your purpose, whatever God designed you for. That is what you are doing. Okay. Let's say you're supposed to be creating an orphanage for young girls. And part of your purpose is to meet with district leaders, the political leadership of your city or your province. And what ends up happening is, as you are going along, you will be able to get guidance from God. Okay. Getting guidance from God comes or arrives in the form of ideas. That's one. Okay. When you are in your purpose and you're operating towards your goals, God will guide you a left and a right limit in the form of an idea. What you don't understand is, as you are walking towards your goal, as you're completing these tasks, as you're doing what you're supposed to do, you don't know what's going to happen. That creative expectation that you have deep nestled in your heart, that's called imagination. You walk into a meeting and you imagine the outcome, or you are imagining how your coworkers are judging you when they probably are not judging you. That will be considered a demonic attack. You might go into the meeting thinking, I can finally get this out and the whole world will be a better place. That's imagination. You have an image and that you formed, not created, you formed it. Okay. It's kind of like you brewed it up. Okay. Then you can manipulate it. You can put apples in there. You can put sweet potato pies in there. You can put extra children. You can put money in there. You can take away money in there. You can put your ex-husband or your ex-wife in there. What you imagine is what you see. What you imagine is what you see. You don't see with your eyeballs. Okay? You don't see with your eyeballs. If you saw with your eyeballs, how can we dream? If you close your eyes right now and I say, bring the image of a red apple and a slimy worm climbing on it in the rain, on the floor of the Amazon forest. Who saw that? Who saw that in their mind? Raise your hand. I did. That's called an image. Okay. And I put that in your mind using my imagination. You should know that ideas. Excuse me. I brought up imagination because your imagination is 100% controlled by you. You control your imagination. Now, that image of the worm on top of the apple in the rain on the Amazon forest floor, mold it into something differently right now. Bring in a dinosaur that wants to eat it, or make it infested with flies, or pick it up and take the worm off and throw the worm into the lake. Okay. That what you're doing with your mind now, whatever you're doing with the apple, is called imagination. Now think about how you can use that in your business, in your health, in your relationships, in your communication. When somebody's screaming at you that you're stupid, you ever wonder how badly they have to be suffering to place a curse on you? How bad are you? How deep in misery do you have to be That's my imagination working. Man, you're in a really low place right now. Hope you get help. I brought your imagination up because oftentimes when you are forecasting your future, whether it be destructive or progressive, you get images that you did not put in there pop up. Random things will pop up. That is probably an idea. That's probably God talking to you. Since you have 100% control of your imagination, you definitely are being visited by God. And it might take interpretation, because you might get like a random piece of broccoli, okay, when you're trying to imagine your business plan. Okay, whenever I see broccoli, I know that the person that it's associated with is full of goodness, full of nutritious value. Like they have a lot of knowledge, not a lot of wisdom, a lot to give the world, but they don't think highly of themselves. Broccoli is ugly. So the person doesn't think highly of themselves. And every time that I saw that, I was correct. So your ideas might need interpretation. That's why you've got to journal it. Okay. You've got to start writing things out, and stop being anti-effort here. Okay. You figuring out your life is not going to be like, nobody has a spell or like a quick fix for you. Nobody can do the things for you. Nobody can write the books for you. Nobody can start the business for you. Nobody can run for you, lift the weights for you. Nobody can, go bowling with your family for you. Like, it has to be you. You have to be in love with effort. You have to be in love with pain. But quite often, people who are miserable, in agony, outside of grace, oftentimes just want to quickly get out the fire. Quickly get out the fire. Do you know diamonds are forged in fire? Gold and silver, pressure. If you leave that space too soon, you won't learn the lesson, and you'll end up right back there. I mean, look at your life. You will end up right back there. So you don't want to, talk to these type of women, but you just avoid them, or you avoid the conversation, and you don't learn communication skills. And the type of woman just shows up as a different woman or man, and you're still stuck. Now, I need to tell you, what does the word concept mean? Because if the word idea, it's a concept in the mind of God, what does concept mean? Concept, it means the immediate object of a thought. The immediate object of a thought. So the thing that comes right after a thought is. So this kind of gets a little bit more complex. If an idea is a concept in the mind of God, then if you break it down more, an idea essentially is an object a thought produces inside of God's mind. A thought that God produces inside of God's mind. almost certainly this is not a third dimensional process that's being annotated here. This has to be like a fourth dimension or fifth dimension type of process, because in 3D, in linear, in sequential order, it doesn't make sense. How can an object be real, like have physical matter, after only a thought? Well, you have to understand who you're dealing with. Okay, you're dealing with God. So if God gives you an idea, just know that it already exists in or on the level that you are at. Okay, if you got the idea, not you thought about it, but you received or discovered an idea that you are rich, that you earn $50,000 every single month. Let's say you were just cooking and you saw the numbers and you saw the stacks of cash and you saw that you had a new car, a new house, you had employees, you had all this great stuff. That might be an idea. This is God letting you know, hey, in the Garden of Eden, okay, on the level of abundance that you exist on, you should know that $50,000 is waiting for you to uncover it. It's kind of like your dad telling you, I have a gift for you. It's somewhere in the house. Good luck finding it. You can search anywhere in the house. Okay. And when I say that the level of abundance, here's what your pastors won't tell you. Okay. Abundance exists on 7 levels. Okay. Abundance exists on 7 levels. So, there are 7 levels of prayer. 7 levels of prayer. When you, excuse me. Okay, so your 7 levels of prayer, I want you to look at it like 7 levels of soil, fertile soil, okay? And each one of these levels of fertile soil, they go out forever, okay? And your fertile soil, right? Your fertile soil can be on the level of greed, of ignorance, of celebration, of intelligence, of meditation, right? So there's 7 different levels of prayer, and each of these levels have fertile soil. But when you decide to plant the seed of celebration, like you are coming into your purpose and you're thanking God, but you exist on the level called greed, the seed won't grow. Okay? The seed will not grow. Now, your ideas can exist on any level possible. Okay? Your ideas can exist on any level possible. So you might be on the level of greed. And on this prayer level of greed, you will not be able to you will not be able to excuse me, on the prayer level of greed, you don't think God is providing enough. So you become stingy, and you get obsessed with the search of gold. Just you searching for gold has become your God. That's greed. Okay? And when you are in this state, thinking that you are able to uncover the when you are like able to uncover your purpose on the level of celebration, that it won't work. Okay, you've got to be on the same level. But if you're even on the level of greed or ignorance, on the lower levels, or on logic, you will not, or God can still talk to you. Okay, God can still show you things. Okay. So then what is manifestation then? Manifestation means that you are uncovering or revealing something. And the concept of manifestation is when you can only manifest something that is already there. Manifestation is not about magic tricks. It's not about voodoo. It's not about anything else like other than revealing what's already there. So if God has given you an idea that you are supposed to be a millionaire, or you're supposed to be married to a loving wife or a loving husband, and you finally discover that, you finally come into that millionaire status or the loving husband or the loving wife, what ends up happening is you then are able to manifest. That's called manifestation. You are constantly manifesting your life, but only to the extent of the level of prayer that you are on. You cannot reveal things that is on or expose things that are on higher levels if you exist on lower levels. Okay? And if you want to learn more about prayer, like what prayer actually is, like what you've never learned, and why you're probably stuck in life, you go download the ebook A Peace Called Love. Yes, it's for real. I've written about it. Okay? So ideas come from God. Number one, when you're in your purpose, kind of like a left and a right guide, getting you to not step outside the boundary. Okay. Next, it would be, next, you will get ideas when you are outside of your purpose, when you're in misery. Okay. Now, when you're outside of your purpose, you're outside of grace. And what is grace? Grace is God's unmerited love and favor. It's an area. Okay. Think of it like an area. Okay. And grace, inside of grace, you get to experience joy, bliss, celebration, hope, and a bunch of other things. And when you are inside of grace, then you are able to freely talk to God and then receive from God. Outside of grace, it's very hard for you to hear God. You can talk to God, but it's very hard for you to hear God. Why? Because when you are outside of grace, you are being fed by demons. They are constantly in your ear. They're constantly trying to present images to you to show you what you are doing, or what to do, how to feel, and who to curse out, what Netflix series that you're supposed to binge watch. Like that's why like it's so hard for people to like hear God, because you're not in grace. You're not in grace. If you can't hear God, then it's hard to distinguish what is coming from God, because God will drop ideas anywhere. God can drop ideas anywhere and get you up out of here. Okay. So ideas are not only images. Sometimes they are feelings, not emotions, but feelings. One feeling called an idea is called boredom. Boredom is widely misunderstood. It is widely like overlooked. So boredom, it means to bore, like circle out. And it just goes round and round like this. Okay. It's mundane. It's like, oh, it's boring. Why am I here? I'm just drilling out a hole in this concrete. It's boring. I'd rather be doing something else. Okay. So that's where the word boring comes from. It's boring into like a mountain or something like that. Okay. But boredom is the energy of wanting to escape your current reality. Okay, it's like an appetite of escape. You really, really, really want to not be here. Boredom. And you could be bored doing anything. You could be bored cooking dinner. You can be bored having sex with your wife or husband. You could be bored out at the club drinking. You could be bored sitting down doing nothing, watching your Netflix series. Boredom strikes at any moment. And boredom is an idea. Okay, boredom is an idea that you need to take seriously, because this is your ticket out. This is your ticket out of misery. But people can't handle boredom. I tell you right now, people do not know how to handle boredom. It's too intense. It's mundane. It seems like it's a relaxed type of nudge. But if you truly sit in boredom, it can get real intense. Now, I say that because boredom urges you in only two directions. Okay? Boredom urges you in only two directions. And I'm giving you the spill here. Okay? It either can urge you in the direction of excitement, or it can urge you into the direction of purpose. Okay? Excitement is what 95% of human beings do. They're chasing their next dopamine hit. They need some donuts. They need an energy drink. They need alcohol. They need weed. They need drugs. They need sex. They need pornography. They need to climb a mountain. They need to go to the gym. Now, going to the gym and like healthy stuff, if you're planning it, is good. But if you're going there just to get high, like just to take your pre-workout, that's not good, brother. That's not good. I'm sorry. That's not good. Okay. So excitement always leads into addiction. That's why, like, that side of boredom is extremely dangerous. Okay. If you exit boredom through the process called excitement, you will certainly experience some type of addiction. So some type of addiction like being lazy. Okay, the habitual sense of avoiding responsibilities. Okay, or you might become addicted to alcohol or caffeine, or you might just be curious and open up pornography, and now you're hooked on pornography for decades. Okay, so excitement leads to addiction. Addiction is ruled by the demon called sloth. Okay, the demon called Belphegor, who rules sloth. Okay, it's a stepping stone. Okay, but boredom is God telling you what you're doing now. I have things better for you. I have things that are way better for you. Whatever you're doing right now in the moment, if you're bored, you shouldn't be here. That's God telling you that. If you're in your 9-to-5 job and you get bored, you shouldn't be there. And I will tell you this, boredom has a timer. Okay? I'm going to tell you the other half of boredom, but boredom has a timer. Meaning, once you get bored, you can only be bored for too long before then God corrects you. Okay? And you don't want God's correction. Meaning, it's brutal. It feels inhumane. So, just for example, if you have a wife and she's been cheating on you, she's been posting her body online for attracting other men, all this stuff, and all this crazy stuff, and now you as the husband, just for example, you as the husband are bored. You're bored in your relationship. What ends up happening is God is telling you she's not for you. She's an adulteress. She has a hardened heart. She's unwilling to, abide by your guidance. So what ends up happening is like God has started the timer to tell you that it's time for you to leave this marriage, get a divorce, and you don't. So you stick around, you stick around, you stick around. Okay, well, somebody's going to get cancer. Somebody's going to get in a bad car accident and have their leg amputated. Like, for real. God works in mysterious ways, okay? But you don't want him to work in that way. So just take what I'm saying seriously, okay? Now, so one side of boredom is called excitement. That's how you exit boredom. The other side, how you exit boredom, is called purpose. This is when you communicate to God through prayer and you ask God, where do I go next? God, what am I supposed to do next? You open your mouth and you speak. Don't do it in your mind. Speak with your mouth. With your mouth, speak. And you'll be shocked. Just be silent and you will see an image. You can have your mind or your eyes open or your eyes shut. It doesn't matter. You will receive an image. And this image is quite often from God. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to be hanging out with homeless people to help heal some of them. Or I'm supposed to be golfing with my friend so I can pitch my business to some of the bros. Interesting. Okay, so boredom, the two ways out of boredom is excitement and purpose. There's no other way out. And if you think you can just stay in boredom, you'll end up with a timer that stops on 0, and God's going to have to correct you out of the situation. It doesn't matter what you do, okay, who you are. I mean it. And many people choose excitement because we as a society have idolized fun. and we think the meaning to life is to have fun. I have no clue where this thing came from, this rule came from, that if you're not having fun, you're not living life. Can somebody tell me anywhere in the Bible or anywhere when God spoke through anybody that fun is one of God's commands? Thou shalleth haveth funneth. If you don't have funneth, you will be banished into hell. Where did God say that? And he even gave us the blueprint for creation in Genesis. Nowhere in his 6 days when he created all of everything did he ever say, and here is fun, and fun is good. You know, he didn't say that. So this should be an eye-opener for everybody. The word fun, it means fool. To be fool, like foolish, like clown activity. Fun, fool. No purpose. Okay? Excitement feels like fun. So many people choose excitement. And then many people become addicts. Doesn't matter if you're not on drugs. Might be addicts to a Netflix series or popcorn. For real. Or pre-workout. Okay? This is serious. So boredom is actually an idea that God gives to you when you are outside of your purpose. Is this making sense? I need feedback. Is this making sense, you guys? Boredom is an idea that God gives to you when you are outside of grace, in order for you to get back in grace. You don't, if you don't get back in grace, fine. You have free will. You got free will to be miserable your entire life. Nobody's stopping you. Did you know that there's nothing that the farmer has to do nothing for weeds to grow, but for the spinach and the carrots and the onions and the celery and the cherries and the olives, the farmer has to be diligent. But to do nothing, to ruin the crop, just do nothing. You can be miserable all you want to. Do nothing in life. Be bored your entire life. Okay? You're concerned that you can't, you don't know what God's voice is. God has, well, I can tell you that God doesn't sound like you. Doesn't sound like me either, because I'm not God. God is like awareness itself. It's design itself. It's the light. It's everything. Anyway, but idea, okay? When you are in your imagination and you're trying to creatively structure anything, because that's really what imagination is. So think of creativity like a circle, like a big pie, okay? Like an apple pie, okay? But this pie is like all of the cosmos. It's all of everything, okay? It's Jupiter, it's Andromeda, it's the, the Titan 16, that big old black hole, it's all of everything, Sirius, Planet X, whatever. So this is the pie. We're gonna call this pie creativity. Okay, this pie here is called creativity, and creativity is ever expanding. It's still growing, but just for purposes of this video, I'm just going to hold my hands here because I can't stretch forever. So this is called creativity. Imagination is only a piece of that. It's a boundary. Okay. It's a boundary, a left and right boundary. And your imagination is structured creativity. Your imagination is structured creativity. If you don't know how to structure your imagination, don't worry. The devil will do it for you. The demons don't mind taking over your mind and making you do foolish stuff. I mean, that's kind of what they do. Just like stupid mosquitoes will buzz like around your eyeballs and your ears and stuff, and it's just super annoying. These demons are going to do what they're designed to do. Okay, mosquitoes are designed to annoy, or actually they're designed to do a lot of things, but not necessarily annoy. But you know what I'm trying to say, okay? So your imagination, as you are imagining something on your piece of the pie, you're structuring creativity. What ends up happening is you will see things, okay, and like things inside of your mind in order, and you should not take this lightly, okay. Did you know you're supposed to see life with your mind and not your eyeballs? You're supposed to see life with your mind and not your eyeballs. Your eyeballs are not the thing that is supposed to reason with life, contrast life, compare life, see what's not there, see the unseen. If you just move into a house, where are you going to put the couch at? That's called imagination. You think you're trying to imagine, oh, I think the couch will look good here. I think the couch will look good here. I think the couch will look good upstairs, actually. And then you get an image inside of you trying to, imagine your couch a certain way. You'll get an image of I don't know, like a teddy bear, a big panda bear. There you go. And then all of a sudden you're like, I think we should get a big stuffed animal, a panda bear. Okay, so you saw that, but you didn't acknowledge it for what it was. That was an idea. Okay, you were imagining something, but then something popped up that you did not put there. You have 100% control over your imagination. If anything is inside of your imagination, as you are structuring it, that you did not put there, that is an idea. That's what ideas are. A concept in the mind of God. Okay? And like this is why like your mind is so powerful. Like it is the one connecting point between you or physical world and the spiritual world. It's your mind. Only your mind has access to both. Your hands do not have access to the spirit world. Your eyeballs do not have access to the spirit world. Your ears do not have access to the spirit world. And conversely, right, appetite itself, which is a spiritual thing that exists in your mind, does not have access to the physical world. Your imagination itself does not have access to the physical world. Visions themselves, which exist in the mind, do not have access to the physical world. So you have the physical function and the spiritual function. The middle part, the thing that God designed us with, is called a mind. And if you don't use it, you're going to be like 95% of other human beings. Miserable, not in their purpose, being controlled by other people, telling you when to show up for work, when to clock out for work, who to obey, and like that destroys your love, because then your free will is gone. If you can't decide on everything, if you cannot decide on everything in your life, you will not be a person that exists in joy. Okay, I'm going to give you a formula. Okay, responsibility plus accountability minus freedom equals slavery. Accountability plus responsibility minus freedom is slavery. So this is why you hate your job. You are accountable for everything that you're tasked to do. You are responsible for producing the things that you are supposed to produce or clean or cook. Okay, but you don't have any free will. You're being told what to do. This is why it feels like you're trapped. Okay? This is an equation that you should hold near and dear to your heart. Now, if you don't mind not having freedom, meaning if you're being led by a teacher, or if you're being led by a husband, or you're being led by a pastor or a leader of some sort, and you don't care about not being free, and don't just like speak words to kind of trick yourself. If you care about being free, if you're sitting underneath your husband and you get this bad feeling, you're like, oh, I can't stand when he tells me not to wear this. I can't stand when he says I can't go out to the club. I can't stand. That means you care about freedom. That literally means you care about freedom. Okay? When you go into work, that feeling you get when you have to clock in and you're like, man, why are humans like this? Like we're so intelligent, but we've got to work. That means you value freedom. Okay? And this, like, for real. So, ideas themselves, any type of idea, okay, is intuition. Okay? Every single last one of your ideas is intuition. Your intuition, okay, your intuition is something completely different. Or excuse me, I apologize. Intuition is the bigger umbrella thing. Okay, there's a bunch of things that exist underneath intuition. But first, we need to understand what intuition is. Intuition is not a gut feeling. Okay, intuition, it means spiritual perception. Intuition means, spiritual perception. So, if you think of like a sidewalk or a tunnel or a roadway, a highway, think of a doorway or a window, a ramp, all of these things are different pathways. Okay. Doors, a pathway, windows, a pathway, a tunnel, a pathway, A strait between two islands, that's a pathway. A cave, that's a pathway. So intuition, just think of intuition as many invisible pathways that connect you to the spirit world. They're just different pathways that connect you to the spirit world. That's all intuition is. So when people say my gut feeling, you are feeling the connection of intuition, but what is happening is you are being fed through intuition a thing called inspiration. Inspiration is the substance inside of intuition. It's the substance being delivered on the highway. It's the substance that's being pushed through the cave, that's being walked down the sidewalk. That's that's how intuition works. Okay. Intuition, there's holy intuition, and then there's demonic intuition. There's good intuition and bad intuition. Of course, I only want you to be with God, not the devil. Okay. But demonic intuition is things like worry, destruction, stealing, cursing, gossip. Okay. Holy intuition, and you're going to be surprised at things like pain, joy, celebration, and things like that. Okay. And there's a lot more that I annotated in my coaching program. But every type of intuition has the ability to deliver something from the spirit world. So if you are connected to the intuition called worry, which is demonic, you will only be able to see things that support worry. Okay? You will have a mindset, and then that mindset gets transferred to your brain. Then your brain only can detect patterns in reality that support worry. And you don't think your mind is important? Your mind is far more important than you think. So, ideas. Okay. Here are 3 ways your ideas are under attack. Okay. When God gives you an idea, 3 ways that they're attacked or misused somehow. Okay. Number 1 is confusing investigation with curiosity. Many people investigate instead of being curious. Investigation demands proof and distrust. Okay. While curiosity flows from love and wonder. When you investigate, you choke creativity. When you stay curious, you receive ideas directly from God. Okay? Curiosity is when you are actively trying to discover abundance. Curiosity is when you are actively in the moment trying to discover abundance. Did you know that curiosity always leads into love? But curiosity and investigating with your eyeballs appear the exact same way. So then human beings do very stupid things like do a machine gun line of questions trying to get to know somebody in the beginning of a romantic relationship. Hi, what are you doing? Hey, all these questions back to back, as if you're going to gain connection from that. You don't gain connection from information. Why haven't you learned this? You don't gain connection through information. Information at best can only land at knowledge. Information ends at knowledge. It does not lead to love, but curiosity does. Curiosity? Doesn't the Bible say something like you have to be like little children in order to enter into the gates of heaven? Curiosity, all children are organically curious. Just look at them when they're out on the playground at recess. They're running around. They're looking closely at all the ants and the grasshoppers. They're playing soccer. They're smelling everything. They're banging on the walls. They're curious. Curiosity is a good thing. Spiritually saying, okay. So that's one way your ideas are attacked or misused. You confuse investigation with curiosity. Number 2, misplaced attention. What all spiritual warfare is about, it's your attention. What image do you currently have in your mind right now? If you're brave, put it in the comment section. Okay? If you're brave, put it in the comment section. What image do you currently have in your mind? You will be shocked at what you are looking at consistently. Demons fight for your attention because attention is spiritual currency. Thus, the phrase, pay attention. Why aren't you paying attention? But in reality, that currency holds no value. Just like if we go to like a country, like I think the Philippines or Taiwan. If American citizens go to Taiwan and I don't know the currency over there, like what the denomination is called, but the Taiwanese dollar bills, if we take $10 of Taiwanese dollar bills back here into the United States and try and buy something that is supposed to be $10 US dollars, we're going to be in for a world awakening because that doesn't happen. The Taiwanese dollars are extremely lower. Okay, extremely lower than the United States dollar. Value is not the same in every environment. So attention in reality doesn't really mean nothing. Honestly, it doesn't. Even people strive for attention. In reality, it doesn't mean anything. But spiritually, these demons want you to worship them. That's why they say, they tell you that rich people are greedy. They're evil. And yet you want to be rich yourself. Where do they do that at? Okay. Your attention is misplaced. If your attention is glued to distraction, to pleasure, to things needing to be easy, to things needed to be shown to you for you to even try, you're in for a rude awakening. Okay. Attention determines which spirit is feeding your ideas. Okay. Attention it determines what spirit is feeding your ideas. Yes, I'm fine. I just need to take a rest. I'm sleepy. But the show must go on. Turning ideas into idols. Okay, number 3, that's the last way your ideas are attacked or misused. Okay, ideas are spiritual, but when you cling to an idea as the only way forward instead of God who gave it, you turn that idea into an idol. That's how people turn themselves dry, forcing something God never told them to do, because they made the idea their savior instead of keeping God as their source. Okay, so I see this all the time, and it's true. A lot of people turn ideas into idols. You've got to be able to be flexible in life. Okay. Now, I think I am going to go, but I love each and every one of you. I sincerely hope each of you have been blessed by this. Your ideas are valuable. Your ideas need some attention on them. Your ideas are not going to stop as long as you are alive. Okay? Yes, this is recorded on my YouTube page. So just go there and you'll see it pop up probably a couple of minutes after I end this live. Okay. Well, next week, we will be talking about seasonal growth. Okay, seasonal growth. And it's just following along with where I'm going. When you understand that growth happens in season, and even the ant told you in the Bible, you'll be in good shape, okay? But for now, love is the only way. And if you didn't know, now you know.